Hello team, welcome to Sales Tips. There's something that always happens at the beginning of every tour. There's this tension between the clients that doesn't know who they are gonna talk to. There's a little bit of tension between you as a sales rep that don't know exactly how the people is gonna be. Now, the client tension is because they know for a fact that they are going to meet a salespeople, and the only thing that salespeople want is to get their hard-earned money. And believe me, because they know that they have a plan, and their plan is whatever happens, they are going to walk out of there in 60 minutes with their wallet intact, and they are going to go to the beach and enjoy the rest of their vacation. That's their plan. So don't fool yourself. They make a strong pact between themselves that they are going to say no. Okay? Now, what can we do about it? One thing that worked very well for me when I used to take the tours is the following. The first thing that I was doing is make myself human in front of them. This is very important, and the reason for that is they are prepared to meet a cold-blooded sales guy that only care about their commission and about getting the money from them. But they are not ready to meet another human being. They are not ready to meet a parent, a mom, a young kid from Canada, an old guy from England that is pretty cool, or they are not prepared to meet this Indian guy that is living in Cancun, Mexico. So once that they realize that you're a human just like them, okay, then their guard that they have will start coming down. So how do you accomplish this? When I started in the business in 2008, okay, one of the things that I told them is like, hey, John and Mary, my name is so and so, and I am just graduated from the university, and this is actually my first serious job. So at that moment, their guard went down because they knew that I wasn't a very experienced sales guy, and they thought that they could just go away with whatever plan they had. Okay, that's what they thought. Now, later in my life, when I was engaged and making preparations to get married, then I was talking about that in tour. I said like, oh guys, if you don't mind, I have to be aware of my phone because I'm about to get married in a couple of months, weeks, whatever the case may be. And my wife, well, my future wife, she's freaking out with all of the organization. She turns into like, remember this show was Bridezilla? Well, that's my wife right now. Now, people normally laugh and relax with it. They realize that you're a human. That's a very human thing. You know? And one of the things that I used to do also is I ask them for advice. People love giving advice. People love thinking that whatever they have to say, whatever expertise they have, that's the right thing. So if you ask them for advice, they will give it to you, and then they will like you because you're asking them for advice. Then later in my life, when I was recently married, you know, I was telling guys, how many years have you married? Whatever the case they tell me, I will tell them like, wow, can you please tell me some advices? Because I'm married just for a month or 2 months or 3 months or whatever the case may be. And it's a little bit harder than I was expecting. The main reason is because my mother-in-law, she used to be very cool when we were dating, but now that we're married, wow, she's all in my place. So can you help me? And they normally laugh about it, and they give you advices. Okay? Then later in life, when I became a parent, I will tell them something like, oh, good morning, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit exhausted today. I apologize for that. I had a terrible night. I have a newborn at home, and I don't know why, for some strange reason, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't stop crying. So I do apologize because I'm a little bit not myself today. And people get it. People understand. And then people start thinking like, wow, this guy, he's a husband, or he's a parent, or he doesn't really like the mother-in-law, no? And they can relate to stuff like that. So they start thinking like, you know what, this guy is not that bad, or this girl is not that bad. And that way, when they realize that you're a human being, they start lowering their guard a little bit. And then they start opening themselves a little bit because their guard is down. And that's what you want to accomplish. Then the other thing that I will do after becoming a human is be upfront with them. Tell them exactly what's going to happen and how long it's going to take. And normally I will say like, guys, this is going to take around 60 minutes. Okay. I have to give you a lot of information, and I can go from A to C, and it might take a little bit longer than the 60 minutes. Or if you don't mind, with your permission, I would like to ask you a couple of questions so that I can custom tailor the presentation, and we can only talk about things that are relevant for you and your family. And that way it will save us a lot of time. However, if you want me to do the longer version, I mean, it's up to you. At that point, what they're gonna say? At that point, they was gonna say like, oh yeah, no, please, you can ask me whatever questions you need. Why? Because in the back of their mind, the original plan that they have that was getting in and out as fast as possible, now it's even more possible because you just tell them that you're gonna do a shorter version of the presentation, or so they think. Okay, because you're gonna do the presentation anyway. But one key thing over here is that they already give you the permission to ask them questions. Now, once that you have that permission to ask them questions, okay, this for me is the biggest part. The biggest part, and this is when most of the sales are done. And this is my personal opinion. One of the things here is once that you start asking questions, ask really good questions. At that moment, there's nothing more important than what the people in front of you have to say. Okay? In that moment, remember that you're better off listening than talking. Because the more you listen, the more information you get from there. So ask as many questions as you need, and ask really, really good questions so you get really, really good information. Okay? Now, once that you have all of this information, that's information that we're going to use later on, okay, to actually sell them. Now, listen to everything that they say. Listen to their words, obviously, but also listen or pay attention to their body language. Listen to their tone of voice. Be aware. Be really aware. This is the most important part. Okay? Now, once that you finish asking all of these questions, there's this step that is key also, that is information confirmation. At this point, just go over all of the information that they gave you. It's like, oh, you told me that you like this, that you like that you don't like this, that you normally go here and there, that you will like to do this, that whatever the case may be, just feed them all of the information back. And that's very important because at this point, they will realize that you were actually listening to them. Nowadays, nobody's listening to each other because everybody is in their phones or social media or whatever. So whenever they find somebody that really pay attention to them, that will be a shock. That will be like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting this. This guy actually understands me. And once that they feel that you understand them, guess what? Now you have complete respect, and now whatever you tell them and recommend them, they will listen to you because you were paying attention to them. Okay? Now, I will tell them, like, after the fact that I give them all of the feedback of what they told me, I will ask them like, John and Mary, did I miss anything? And if I did, please let me know. For the most part, I never missed anything. But whenever I miss something and they tell it to me, it turned out to be something really important. So that's actually good because you can use that at the end. So the three things that we have talked about today that I think are really, really important is, first, make yourself human in front of them. Remember, people like themselves. Second, be upfront with them and ask permission to ask questions. And third, once that you have the permission to ask the questions, get as most information as you can. So that way, when you're presenting the product, then you can use all of the information that they gave you to custom tailor the information. Because remember guys, at the end of the day, people is going to be able to say no to you anytime. But how can people say no to themselves? How can people say no to their own needs, dreams, desires, and fears? It's their information, and you're just custom tailored for them. Thank you very much for listening.